There are diets that confuse doctors, fetishes that baffle psychologists. And then there's this. A man who didn't just cross the line of human behavior. He ate it. He consumed the unthinkable in full view of the public. Over decades, with cameras rolling, the human body isn't built for what he did. What passed through his mouth should have shredded his insides, ended his life, but it didn't. This isn't a rumor. This isn't a myth. Medical scans confirmed it. Experts observed it. Crowds paid to witness it. And yet, no one ever figured out how or why. And if you're already uncomfortable, good, because the real story hasn't even started. There is something about this history that feels wrong. Not fake, just wrong. And the deeper you go, the harder it gets to look away. You're about to see something that blurs the line between human, machine, and madness.
You are watching Bizarre Nutrition. Hit subscribe, smash that like, and tap the bell if you are ready to go where most people won't.
Michel Lotito wasn't born a monster. He wasn't chewing razor blades in preschool or downing car parts before puberty. He was born in 1950 in Villars-Bonneau, Grenoble, France. Just another boy in a quiet post-war town. But by age 8, something inside him started to shift. While other kids ran from pain, Michel studied it. He trained himself to resist it, not with brute force, but with mental discipline. He began practicing sophrology, a strange hybrid of self-hypnosis, controlled breathing, and neurological conditioning. Why? Because Michel wasn't interested in comfort. He wanted control. Control over his nerves, control over his impulses, and eventually, control over the one thing that should never be controlled: pain. As a teenager, Michel had an accident. He bit down on a glass while drinking and didn't spit it out. He swallowed it. Several years later, at 16, he discovered he could consume other objects and kept going, not out of panic, but curiosity. And when nothing happened, no blood, no agony, no ER visit, he realized something terrifying. He was still hungry. What started as an accident quickly became an obsession. Glass became metal, metal became performance, and soon performance became profit. He didn't just want attention, he wanted domination over fear, over pain, over biology itself. Most people discover their talents in school or sports. Michel discovered his by eating the impossible. Word spread, small crowds gathered, then big ones. He started with bicycles. Bit by bit, he devoured one hole in just 15 days. People laughed until they saw the X-rays. This wasn't illusion. There were no tricks. Michel Lotito had officially crossed the line. And that was just the beginning. One bicycle? That was nothing. Michel Lotito wasn't interested in sideshows anymore. He wanted a stage, a legacy. And in 1978, standing on a fairground in front of a stunned audience, he made an announcement no one saw coming. He was going to eat an entire airplane, not symbolically, not as a metaphor. Every bolt, every wing, every goddamn rivet. The plane was a Cessna 150, small by aviation standards, but still made of aluminum, plastic, glass, rubber, wires, and death. Michel didn't flinch. He brought it down piece by piece using a power saw. He shaved metal into manageable shards. He lubricated each bite with mineral oil and flushed it down with liters of water. And then he swallowed. Again and again and again. It took 2 years. By 1980, the Cessna was gone. Not destroyed, not scrapped, eaten. Somewhere inside Michel Lotito's digestive system, aviation history was digested and flushed like any other meal.
There are stunts, there are illusions, and then there's this. A man who turned an aircraft into a multi-course meal and lived to sign autographs. You are not just watching a performance, you are watching a defiance of biology so extreme, some doctors refuse to believe it was real.
Guinness World Records couldn't ignore it. By 1984, his feats were in the Guinness Ledger, not just for eating planes, for eating everything. TVs, shopping carts, chandeliers, even a coffin with the handles. Michel Lotito had redefined the boundaries of consumption, but was his body built differently, or was it something else entirely? Any normal human being would be torn apart. Swallow even a shard of glass and you're looking at a trip to the ER, if you're lucky. Swallow metal and you're not walking away. You're bleeding internally. Most people would need urgent care and some die. But Michel Lotito, he didn't just survive, he thrived. So what the hell was going on inside him? Doctors studied him. Imaging and gastrointestinal evaluations were done. The results? Inconclusive. His stomach lining was thicker, some said unnaturally so. His gastric juices acidic enough to corrode metal. During one endoscopy, a physician watched in disbelief as foam ate away at a razor blade. But here's the kicker. His longtime physician, Dr. Morzol, called it more a mental problem and said his tests looked surprisingly normal. On paper, he looked much like everyone else.
This is where things stop making sense. Lotito wasn't a medical outlier, he was a paradox. A man whose insides looked normal while doing things no normal body could endure. Was it pain tolerance, mutation, madness? Even science stepped back.
The theories kept piling up. Some blamed pica, a psychological disorder that triggers cravings for non-food items. Others said it was all mental, a hypnotic state where pain and instinct were overridden. But if it was just psychological, why didn't he bleed out? Why didn't his intestines rupture? Why didn't he die after the first glass? That question haunted doctors. It still does. And as Michel kept eating, his body began sending signals it couldn't ignore. For almost 30 years, Michel Lotito was unstoppable. He traveled the world. By 1980, press reports put his fee at about $1,000 per day. He swallowed nails, bullets, TVs, and walked away with a grin. But off stage, things were getting harder to swallow. His doctor, Dr. Morzol, began to see the signs. Internal stress, slow digestive damage, a gut that had taken one too many screws. His body is beginning to wear out, Morzol admitted. Years of corrosion, years of trauma, not just to the organs, but to the mind. Michel wasn't built for this. Nobody is. He was a prototype, as his doctor called him. A man designed by accident, not evolution. One bathroom story did make it to TV. On 60 Minutes, Guinness editor Craig Glenday said Lotito's wife wouldn't let him use the home toilet because after metal days, it came out like bullets and chipped the porcelain. Memorable, still an anecdote. What we can document appears in the photographic record. Objects sawn to bite size, swallowed with mineral oil and lots of water. And crucially, Guinness notes he didn't experience any significant problems excreting. Maybe the toilet took the hit. Maybe the rumor did. Either way, the record stands. Michel kept going. He ate a computer, a bed, a coffin, but the sparkle in his eyes started to fade. Not from regret, he loved what he did. But even machines have limits, and Michel Lotito was running on borrowed time. The man who ate glass, metal, rubber, and taunted death itself met the one thing he couldn't swallow. On June 25, 2007, in Grenoble, he passed away from natural causes at the age of 57. No violent collapse, no ER horror, just an ordinary end to an extraordinary life. A life that had long earned him the French nickname Monsieur Mangetout, which literally means Mr. Eat-All in English. His body wasn't ripped apart by razor blades, his intestines didn't explode from jagged metal, he didn't choke on a spring or bleed out from a chandelier. He just stopped, which begs the question, was his death a miracle of survival or the slowest suicide in recorded history?
Michel Lotito didn't die on stage. He died after the curtain closed. And maybe that's the most disturbing part of all. Not the metal, not the pain, but the fact that none of it ever stopped him.
Today, he's buried in Grenoble, his hometown. No plaque etched in chrome, no ceremonial fork or knife. Just a simple grave for a man whose digestive system became a myth. Over 9 tons of metal passed through him. He once ate the commemorative plaque that Guinness gave him. He chewed through legacy and swallowed it whole. Maybe he was sick. Maybe he was superhuman, a living relic, a man who reminded us that beneath the skin, we are all machines waiting to rust. After everything he put his body through, we are left with one final thought. What do you think truly kept him alive for decades? Like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments.